So welcome, everyone. It's almost 5:30. We're still waiting for a couple of council members. Just hold tight. How are you? Hey, I'm doing good. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. All right, we have a quorum now, so we will get started, everyone. So I will call this special joint meeting of the Milpitas City Council and Housing Authority of June 11th, 2024 in order. While this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom, oral public comment may only be provided live at the City Council meeting in person. The City Council meeting is available for instant translation in over 50 languages with Wordly. This is a new app, it's a new program, accessible via mobile phone, computer, and video displays. To use Wordly, please scan the QR code located on the title page of the agenda in the upper right-hand corner, and the agendas are outside on the lobby. So back to today's business. City Clerk Gazetta, please take the roll call, please.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Here.
Councilmember Lien,
Here.
Councilmember Fan,
Present.
Mayor Montano.
And I am here. Thank you. And so now we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone rise. Does anybody want to say it? Vice Mayor?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. May be seated. So now we will do presentations. So I will invite the council to join me at the lectern and invite all the audience to join for a short reception in the City Hall lobby after issuing the awards. So the certificates will be on the dais. Okay, so now we will go down to welcome, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see all of you here. This is really our first Heroes Award for the community, and I really want to thank Vice Mayor Chua for being instrumental in in making this happen. And so we voted on it and we said, yeah, this is a great thing for community members that have contributed a lot to the city of Milpitas and to the community. So the first commendation, let me see, how should I do this? I'm going to ask the council member who is going to give the commendation to come up to the podium and announce and bring up their candidate for the appointee, and then they can give them the commendation. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess the first one will be the first heroes that are deserving, but I was not able to vet on this organization without the help of Council Member Lian, who helped me recommend this organization. So can you please join me, Council Member? Right. So the City of Milpitas Community Heroes Award 2024 proudly presented to the Rotary Club of Milpitas. The City of Milpitas thanks the Rotary Club of Milpitas for their dedication and support to the Milpitas community through their decades-long work of programs, events, and initiatives to better Milpitas and the whole world. True to their mission of service above self, their most recent event, A Rose for You, raised funds to promote awareness of and fight against human trafficking. We applaud all your hard work. Organizations like yours make Milpitas a better place to live.
Would Milpitas Rotary Club join us up here?
Okay. Next, we will have Councilmember Lynn.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And this next commendation is for Hope for the Unhoused. The City of Milpitas thanks Hope for the Unhoused for their dedication and support to the Milpitas community through advocacy for unhoused residents. Volunteers work tirelessly packing and delivering food to the unhoused, forming relationships and building trust. They have notably assisted over 36 residents find resources, services, and permanent housing. We applaud all your hard work. Organizations like yours make Milpitas a better place. I would like to invite Yoli, Tom, Lisa, and Jennifer too. No? Okay.
The nominating. Okay.
Congratulations to the Hope for the End House. Congratulations. Next, we will have Anthony, Councilmember Anthony Fan.
Firstly, thank you all for showing up today on this very breezy afternoon. No, for those of us who serve in this role, we all know that it's a thankless job. It's we bear the weight of the city, and when things go wrong, we're obviously the ones to blame. But when we are here, it is rare that we get the acknowledgement, nor should we necessarily, work for that acknowledgement. But my next honoree is somebody who has been in this role, and it is somebody who I've been honored to serve alongside. Someone I am proud to have had the privilege of calling my colleague. And since leaving the council, she's continued to dedicate her time and commitment towards advocacy and service for our community in the areas of homelessness, in the areas of mental health. And that person is Marcia Grilly. She's not here with us today, but I believe we have Julie Lynn, who will be who will be accepting on her behalf. Thank you.
Yes.
Whoa, looking around my bifocals there. Good afternoon, everyone. I am not Marcia Grilling. I am not Julie Lind, but I've had 40 years of being kind of confused with both. Oh, you young people. I am Jennifer Lind. Marcia is at a family event this evening, is unable to attend, but she asked that I send her remarks. She says, in 1978, Dennis and I chose the city in which to raise our family. It's been an amazing home where we had the opportunity to witness the success of our 5 children, all products of the Milpitas schools. While our children have grown up and moved to other communities, we continue to appreciate Milpitas and its positive family atmosphere. I had the honor to serve Milpitas as a school board member and as a vice mayor, and I continue to enjoy and embrace the opportunities to help our wonderful city and its residents in various ways. I am unable to be present today because we are celebrating the birthday of our twin sons, Matthew and Patrick, but I want to express my appreciation to Council Member Anthony Fan and for nominating me, and thank you to Mayor Montano and the council for recognizing me with the 2024 Milpitas Community Hero Award. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to Marcia Gurley to receiving the 2024 Hero Award. And now we have Vice Mayor Chua with her nominee.
First, when I thought about Milpitas Community Heroes, the beginning of this year, I thought about all you wonderful people who are really the unsung heroes of our community. You do things for the community without being acknowledged, recognized, or even commended. I want to thank the rest of the City Council for approving my initiative, and here we are today. And also, I don't want to forget the city staff, the city manager, Ned Thomas, because we got it on the calendar and I said I wanted to do it before we break next month. So we're here. Thank you so much, City Manager Ned. And my nominee is, I'm not going to say anything because they have like 2 pages of accomplishments. So I'm going to call on our president, Valerie. Come on up, please. Okay.
So I'm Valerie Meisner, and we're with the Green Thumb Garden Club of Milpitas. And we've been around since 1956, so a long time here in the city. And the members that were here in the very beginning did a lot of work with the city and planting around it, a lot with Agnew State Hospital that was in that area, gardens. They also did a lot of working with children in the schools of planting seeds and teaching them about gardening. So in the years past, we've planted trees here in the city, and there was one here at City Hall, but not sure if it's still around. We're not sure exactly which tree that is. But we've planted flowers at like Starlight Park in years past, and then we found out there was no water going to them, so that was really hard to keep going. But we've enjoyed doing what we can. We planted plants at the library during the Christmas time, and we do a lot with been able to donate to Boy Scouts and many organizations. The Cal Hills Garden we donated to, and also to Randall School Garden. And I understand Burnett now has a school garden too that we might be able to invest in. But I'm trying to think of all the things that we've done. Now, we used to participate in the Frontier Days parade with big floats. If any of you were around then, we had the mission float that was going through. So anyway, we've just really enjoy getting together, really enjoy the community. We look for opportunities to beautify it in any way, either in large forms of trees or a small little garden. So we participate in the Pumpkins in the Park and Earth Day and try and just connect with our community members. So if any of you are interested in gardening, come see us. We have a meeting on Monday, the 24th. Thank you.
I also want to recognize some of the founding members of the Garden Club. I've only been a member, like I'm going on my 9th year, but they've been here over 50 years, 60 years. You know, Linda, Myrna, Joanne, and my God, everybody here has been around for a while and they're awesome. Thank you so much. Come on up, please. Come on up.
Now we're gonna step aside. No, it's the, they're not, you're the one that nominated you. Thank you. Congratulations to the Milpitas Garden Club that's been around for a mighty long time. Thank you for all your service. You guys all have green thumbs. Thank you. And so now, last but not least, my nominee is Maria Elena Acevedo. Now, Maria Elena, I don't know how many of you have been to Old Town Main Street, and we have best sandwiches. So come on up, Maria Elena. She's been in business since for about 10 years now. And I would like to read the commendation to her. So the city of Milpitas thanks you for your dedication and support to the Milpitas community through your history of giving back to the residents. Maria Elena regularly donates food to various groups and donates money to the Milpitas High School Boosters and St. John the Baptist Church, where she also volunteers. She takes pride in her restaurant, Best Sandwiches, and has been an example for other businesses with her beautification efforts on Main Street. We applaud all your hard work. Individuals like you is what makes Milpitas a better place to live. And she's also a master chef. She is the one that creates all the dishes and all the sandwiches there at the restaurant. And what I love about Maria Elena, single mom, struggled, raising two daughters by herself and still running a business. I mean, that takes tenacity. That takes inner strength. And she still has the time to contribute to the community. And that's why I love Maria Elena, and that's why I nominated her. Thank you. And I want her daughters. She has the two daughters. Come on up. Come on up. Those are her two daughters. I remember when they were little. Now they're growing up. So thank you. Would you like to say something? Are you bashful? Yes, say something.
I'm not very good speak. Well, okay. I love Milpitas very much, and I have passion for cooking. And one of my happiness is donate and help, and that people enjoy my food. And I like very much gifts, everything. Like that's always I'm working, and the employee said, no, don't stay in the register because you give everything. Don't charge to anybody because I like it. I like make all those, my food, and everybody's getting happy. That's why I'm nervous. I can't speak very much. Thank you. Mayor, if I may, uh, Mayor, if I may, I would like to thank Rhoda and Eric from Milpitas Beat for being here this evening. I would like to thank Mylene for the Milpitas Post and Mercury News. So we're very much covered tonight. So thank you all. And
Thank you, everyone. And we're all going to go downstairs and have a treat with a cake. Thank you. Let's all go downstairs. The reception. So now we are going to close this session and then go downstairs and resume after the reception. Thank you. We'll see you downstairs. minutes. Check the time. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It is 6:31. And now let's move on to the public forum. Members of the public are invited to speak on any item that does not appear on today's agenda. Please note that oral public comment may only be provided live at the city council meeting in person. Public forum will be limited to 3 minutes. So call for speakers, City Clerk.
I have the following speaker cards. I have Nick Lamson and Voltaire Montemayor.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Mr. Montemayor, would you like to come up?
Thank you. Voltaire Montemayor of Milpitas. Thank you. Oh, I still have this. I was downstairs. Yeah, good cake. I put on my note there that I'll be speaking up a little bit of last meeting's agenda, but I'll try to congratulate everybody first. Yeah, there are 5 groups. I took picture. No ranking, but 5 honorees tonight. Rotary, Green Thumb. Now I'm losing that, anyway, yeah, last week we mentioned about, we talked about, it was on the screen that the 10 years budget plan, but I think we concentrated on the 5 of the 24-25 budget, and it seems like we are okay. And then I was talking with somebody, maybe one of the finance department. I mentioned that if there's issue, we could resolve that. It's not too late. As long as I think the book is not closed yet, then we could do some papers. One of you guys mentioned also, maybe I remember city manager, I heard the word replenishment. I think we could clear everything with the replenishment. And then if there is a budget contingent plan, then it may help in any problem. Anyway, Milpitas is not as big as other cities, but we're great in population and we have great people. We have good ideas. So if we need some contingency budget plan, then we need Milpitas to be progressive. At least we resolved one last time about the 15, you got me on that one. We increased the area of approving that that coming project. So I indicated that I like it, but it was approved for the presenter, the developer. So that's good. And if we have like we don't have airport, we don't have Levi's. What is that we don't have? We don't have Tesla in Milpitas. But if we have, I'm not competing with the Walmart, but if we have Costco, if we have a bigger place to eat, sometimes we go not in Milpitas, we go somewhere to eat because we're a big group. But anyway, I'm not trying to discount the establishment that we have now. And I have more to say, but I got 5 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Montemayor. Is there another person that would like to speak?
I have a card for Nick Lamson. I do not see the mayor.
So Nick? Not, okay, who's, oh, not that Nick, right? Okay. Okay, all right. Is there anyone else from the audience that would like to make any comments? Okay, I will close this session of the public forum. So now moving on to announcements of conflict of interest and campaign contributions. We have our city attorney, Michael Mutalapasi.
Thank you, Mayor, and please excuse the hoarseness of my voice today. I ask you, Mayor, and each council member whether he or she has any financial or personal conflict of interest related to any of the items on tonight's agenda?
Councilmember Barbadillo,
None.
Vice Mayor Chua,
None.
Councilmember Lian,
None.
Councilmember Fan,
None.
Mayor Montano.
And I am none.
Thank you. I further request the members of the Milpitas City Council to please disclose any campaign contributions of $100 or more received within the last 12 months from any of the parties entering into contracts with the city on tonight's agenda, or contributions received from the development project applicant or development projects on tonight's agenda.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
None.
Vice Mayor Chua,
None.
Councilmember Lian,
None.
Councilmember Fan,
None.
Mayor Montano.
None.
Please let the record reflect there are no reported conflicts.
Thank you, City Attorney. And now we will read the Code of Conduct, and Vice Mayor Chua graciously is going to read.
Thank you, Mayor. Milpitas City Council Code of Conduct. Be respectful and courteous. Model civility. Avoid surprises. Praise publicly and criticize privately. Focus on the issue, not the person. Refrain from using electronic devices while on the council dais. Disclose conflicts of interest and affiliation related to the agenda items. Separate governing from campaigning. The council speaks with one voice after making policy on issues. Respect the line between policy and administration. Council will hold one another accountable to comply with this code of conduct. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And now moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to make any changes before making a motion? We have.
No
Okay,
changes.
Vice Mayor,
So move.
for a second. If not, okay, well, I'll have, so it has moved by Vice Mayor and seconded by Councilmember Lian. Thank you. So now we'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Councilmember Fan,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I'm an aye. Thank you very much. And so now moving on to the consent calendar, we'll take any staff that wants to make any comments.
No comments on the consent calendar.
And now we'll ask the public if they have any comments. We're opening it up for the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment on the consent agenda? Mr. Montemayor, you always come up. You're passing this time. Okay. All right. Okay, and I don't see anyone else, so we'll close the public comment. Is there a motion? So we have Vice Mayor Chua.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
We have so it was motioned by Councilmember Hanlon to accept the consent calendar and seconded, and Councilmember Barbadillo is going to second it. Thank you. All right. And so now we'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Councilmember Fan,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. Okay, thank you very much. So now we will review the list of agenda items, requests from individual council members. Is this so actually, well, I'll just give it to you, City Manager, to
Yes,
that.
thank you, Mayor. This is our usual prioritization process where City Manager's office will present the agenda items requested by individual council members for your consideration and vote. And we have our Assistant City Manager, Matt Kano, here to present the staff report and answer questions.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And next slide, please. So as City Manager Thomas mentioned, this is our quarterly update on prioritization of City Council referred work plan items. Back in January 2021 is when City Council first provided direction to staff to start bringing forward an individual item request for council consideration to place on our work plan. Through this process, there's been a few hundred items that have been brought forward for consideration during that time. And there was a prioritization policy that was established on January 10th, 2023, that a city council policy that was adopted that we use to govern this process. The last time we were in front of you was in February 2024, and the list that we have this afternoon in front of you covers items that have been referred during the end of city council meetings from February 20th to June 4th, 2024. Next slide, please. There's a total of 39 items that we're tracking on the work plan that's an attachment to this agenda report. 12 of those items are in group 1, which are items that have not been initiated, would require more than 4 hours of staff time, and may require additional funding or resources. And that is why we're asking you to vote on those this evening to see which ones we want to prioritize. Just one caveat, even though it says 12 items on the presentation, 2 of those items in consultation with Vice Mayor Chua, who recommended those originally, we are not putting up for vote for prioritization this evening because Vice Mayor Chua withdrew the request to vote on those 2 items. And group 2, those are items that are not initiated, but staff can continue because it's either part of our already work plan or requires less than 4 hours of staff time. An example of that is the investigation of food trucks on Main Street that was referred by Mayor Montano. That's something that's already in the work plan of our Economic Development Department and very aligned with that work plan. And so it doesn't require any more than 4 hours of extra work other than we had already planned. And so that's why we're not asking that you vote on that this evening. Items that are already underway. These are items that we are continuing to track from prior prioritization sessions until we complete those items or those items are otherwise withdrawn. We continue to provide updates in our quarterly process on those items, and there's 19 of those. And then there's 6 items that have been completed since the last update. Next slide, please. So there's 10 items that we're asking that are up for prioritization tonight. Between two to 3 items will eventually come out of the vote this evening for us to start working on and or refer to a future budget process if there's not sufficient money at this time to move forward. I'll briefly cover each one of these in these next 10 slides, but there is definitely more detail in the attachment of the report that you have in front of you this evening. The first one is revisiting the solicitation ordinance. The solicitation ordinance was brought before Maynard City Council by the city's attorney's office. However, it was not adopted by the city council at that meeting, and it was requested during referrals to bring this ordinance back in front of the entire city council. If this item is moving forward, we would want clarification on whether the council's requesting a residential no solicitation ordinance, commercial, or both. And then that would help us determine how to move forward if this one is voted on for prioritization. Next slide, please. This next item is strengthening of the no smoking ordinance. And as noted, where it says CC02, when you end up voting at the end, these are all numbered and the same numbers that are on the slide as well. The city of Milpitas had previously adopted an ordinance prohibiting smoking in parks and trails in 2012 and expanded that in 2017 and in 2021. However, this strengthening one area where the public is allowed to access where smoking is not prohibited is in publicly accessible parking areas and parking lots. So this ordinance, if it moved forward for prioritization, would strengthen and allow or prohibit smoking in publicly accessible parking lots. Next slide, please. CC03 is a tobacco ordinance review. The city currently doesn't require a local tobacco retailer or permitter. The city currently does not require a local tobacco retailer permits minimum distance from sensitive land uses such as schools, et cetera. And if the city did adopt an ordinance consistent with the county's ordinance, the county has agreed to administer, implement, and enforce our ordinance. However, there are procedures that we would have to follow, such as 2 youth decoy operations per year for each retailer. And so there would be significant costs associated with this. However, again, if it's prioritized, we would look at options to move forward. Next slide, please. It's animal cruelty ordinance. On a one-time basis, this would require additional provision to be to the Humane Treatment of Animals section of our Muni Code to add a section regarding the standards for boarding and treatment of horses within the city of Milpitas. On an ongoing basis, funding required for this additional ordinance would not be known. However, this would be initially just a one-time cost. And then over time, if there were additional costs associated with enforcement, et cetera, we would have to discuss that with council. Next slide, please. CC05, Arts Month for Commissioners. This would be could be an art show featuring city commission pieces. If approved, it could be hosted each April, which is aligned with National Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. Staff time to fulfill this request would be about 30 hours because it'd be an event that staff would have to would move forward, and they'd work with the various commissioners to identify their art pieces and have a reception, et cetera, to showcase the commissioner's art. CC06, Veterans Banner Program. This exists in some other cities, such as Salinas on their downtown Main Street, where there are banners that are rotated on an annual basis that portray veterans that either are from Milpitas or somehow connected to the city of Milpitas. And this would be a program that would be, it could be run by, if it was run by city staff, there would be a cost associated with that that is discussed in the packet. The city of Salinas's program is called the Salinas Hometown Heroes Banner Program. And again, it would be meant to honor veterans that either have served or that have served that are either from Milpitas or somehow otherwise linked to Milpitas. Next slide, please. CC07 is a Community Advisory Commission focus change to housing. So we currently have a Community Advisory Commission. It's a city council's advisory board body on matters affecting residents such as CDBG programs, Spring Cleaning Day, National Night Out, Neighborhood Beautification Awards, and other items. There is a little bit related right now to our housing department regarding CDBG, but if this agenda item did move forward, it would change, actually as a prioritization, as a prioritized item, it would change the possible, the name of the commission to include housing. If this did not move forward for prioritization, since our housing department does oversee the CAC right now, our housing division oversees the CAC right now, we could include some additional housing items. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Yeah, next slide, please. CC08 is a planning commission stipend that was recommended as a referral. Pursuant the Milpitas Muni Code currently governs the stipend for the planning commission in the amount of $25 for attending any regular or special meeting. A formal ordinance amending the Muni Code would have to be adopted to increase the amount. As an example, if the amount was increased to $100 per meeting, which was something that was suggested in 2016 and 2018, the annual budget impact to the city ongoing would be about $11,500. Next slide, please. Citywide Banner Program. This would be a program that would install banners on streetlights on major roadways to promote destinations and other features within the city of Milpitas to promote community pride, economic development, et cetera. And for the costing this out, we assumed about 60 banners that were replaced 2 times a year and with some ancillary expenses. And by the way, there is a section on a lot of these slides that says clarification / direction needed. I'm not reading all of those out loud right now because if these items are prioritized, then we would ask you to provide that clarification for those items that are prioritized. But just as an example, we would love any feedback this evening if this were prioritized on other specific streets or destinations, et cetera, that would be displayed on the banners that the council would prefer. Next slide, please. So the last item, Escuela Parkway traffic analysis. This project could review the installation of an express lane for transit vehicles on Escuela Parkway between Sandalwood Lane and Washington Drive, right where all our Milpitas High School and other schools are located. It could expedite travel time for transit during peak of traffic. And this study could also include a traffic safety review of that section of Escuela Parkway in front of the schools, as well as the entire length of Escuela Parkway. And it's a very important roadway for us for a number of reasons, especially with all the schools that are located on the northern end of Escuela Parkway. Next slide, please. So a recommendation in our agenda report is to review the list of agenda item requests from the individual council members and provide direction to staff through the prioritization process on which group one's items should be advanced. And then any additional input or questions that you may have on the other items that we're tracking on our spreadsheet. Next slide, please. So this is the prioritization process that we've been using and is outlined in our city council policy. And you should have received an email earlier today from IT Director Daniel Nam. And each member of the council will prioritize during round one of voting 2 top items from group one. So there's 10 items that are on that list in your email. And so we'll ask you to vote on your 2 top items, and then we'll display those results. If all the items, all items receiving 3 or more votes would be considered approved. So it could be between, at the most, there's 3 items that would receive 3 or more votes. And if the number of items is 2 or greater, the prioritization process would be deemed complete. If the number of items is less than 2, we'll go to a subsequent round. And maybe as opposed to me reading the rest of the slide, we can talk about subsequent rounds at that time. And with that, that ends my presentation. Happy to take any questions or, and then when you're ready, we can proceed to the voting.
Thank you, Matt. So now I will call for public comment. Is there anyone on the public that would like to make any comments on this item? Mr. Montemayor, please come up.
Voltaire Montemayor, Milpitas. I believe, or I could tell that what was mentioned from 1 up to 6 or 7, it seems like administrative, tobacco, the arts, about the banners, with the night out, all those systems, traffic, yeah, the escuela. I think that's the priority already. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor, for those comments. Anyone else? Anyone on speaker cards? Okay, so now let's move on to for council discussion and feedback. And we have Vice Mayor Chua.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt, I just want to clarify. So I'm putting on hold the tobacco ordinance C03. The ordinance on catalytic converter, because I've been informed that we have a strong state catalytic converter law already. So there's no need, we can piggyback on the state ordinance, law, if you will. And also C12, because this being able to, because there's a law that now you can sell your ADU separately from the main house, but it's still fluid. It's still not firm. So I'm going to wait and put that on hold. So in essence, I'm putting 3 on hold. C3, C11, and C12.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So for C11 and C12, since we communicated on this last week, those aren't on the
Included.
list for the council members to vote on. For C3, that currently is on the list. So we have kind of 2 options. One, if we could just ask council members to respect your request and not vote on it, then obviously that'd be at their judgment. But or we could redo the list, but that would take a little bit of time.
There's no need.
Okay.
We'll skip it if that's okay. It's easier.
Okay.
And also on the C5, I said that the commissioners to be able to display their art, well, as I mentioned on the briefing early this week or last week, I would like to add employees as well, because we have talented employees and they have arts as well. So we're looking for our city attorney to come up with guidelines to make sure there's no conflict. But we would love to have the employees' arts displayed as well. And I think that's it. And I would like to change the Community Advisory Commission to Community Advisory and Housing Commission, because we do a lot of housing activities and services that we need a commission to disseminate those information to the residents. Like we have workforce housing, we have rental relief, we have those grants, those awards, and we can't remove the community because we still have the CDBG. You know, it's a catch-all for a commission. So that's my proposal.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there anyone else that would like to make any comments? So I don't see any. So now we need a motion.
We need to,
What?
we need to vote
Oh, yeah.
individually.
I would just ask to, before we,
And I thought we needed a motion to vote. No?
No,
Okay.
no, there's no motion. I'm looking at Michael in case he has an opinion, but no motion needed to vote, Mayor.
Okay.
But I would ask that, based on the feedback from the Vice Mayor, I could just summarize. So as everybody goes to vote, just to make sure though. So CCO 3, which is a tobacco ordinance review, is on your list to vote on, but based on the Vice Mayor's feedback, we're asking that you not vote on that. And then CCO 5, Arts Month, we would include.
Can you repeat the first one that you said?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
CCO 3, which is the tobacco ordinance review, would ask that you not vote on that one.
Okay.
CCO 5 is you're considering the Arts Month for potential prioritization. It would include employees as well as commissioners to display their art. And CCO 7, the name of the commission would be changed to Community Advisory and Housing Commission if that is voted on.
So the CCO 3 and CCO 5, we do not vote on.
No, I apologize. CCO 5 and CCO 7, you would continue to vote on. I just added some clarification. CCO 3 is the only one that you would not
Okay.
vote on.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. Let me-
And Daniel's right behind all of you if you need any assistance.
Okay.
When you are ready, voting is open for round one.
So how do we just click on the,
You get 2 votes and Daniel, is that right? I come down to.
just vote, we just select 2 and then we submit it? Okay, for the first round.
Correct. If the number of items is 2 or greater, if 2 or more items received at least 3 votes, then we're done. And then it'll be those items that move forward. And we'll see, city clerk will display the results for us to look at together. Oh, excuse me. Oh. It's tough.
Okay, is everyone done voting?
I believe we are waiting for confirmation that the round can close, Mayor.
So I think
Does anyone have any changes to their vote? Are they good with this selection?
No, no changes.
Thank you. We will close this round of voting. On the screen, we are going to display the selections. Mayor Montano selected CC5 Arts Month, CC10 Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. Vice Mayor Chua selected CC7 Community Advisory Commission to change the focus to housing, and CC9 a citywide banner program. Councilmember Anthony Pham selected CC2 Strengthening of the No Smoking Ordinance, and CC5 Arts Month, recommend an Arts Month exhibit for commissioners to showcase art. Councilmember Leanne selected CC8, exploring increasing the stipend for Planning Commission, and CC10, the Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. And Councilmember Barbadillo selected CC1, revisiting the solicitation ordinance, and CC8, exploring increasing the stipend for Planning Commission. The voting results, I am refreshing the page and they are not coming up with the tally. Oh, there are no items that passed. Thank you.
So, Mayor, so the way we're recommending is we do the exact same thing again. If the same thing happens where we don't get items with 2 or more items with 3 or more votes, then we will start dropping off the items in subsequent rounds that didn't get any votes. So it'll make it go a little quicker after this. But I guess for now, our recommendation is that we kind of go ahead and do the same thing again, and everybody gives their top 2, just like we did last time.
But wouldn't that really, what if it's the same thing and we'll be here all night? Wouldn't it be wiser to just cut it in half and then do cut it in half and then do the second round?
Yeah, we could. So it's really up to you. What the traditional process has been that we've done is we wait until the 3rd round of voting to start cutting things out. But if you would prefer to start cutting the items that didn't receive any votes out now before you vote again, we can do that now, if that's the preference.
I want to ask the Vice Mayor, you have, hold on, let me put you in. Okay.
So I think we should do one more round before we start eliminating items, because I've seen like items with at least 2 and all we needed is one more. And we don't want to not include those. You see what I'm saying?
So-
Just try one more
Yeah.
time.
So-
So there's some there that it just needed 2, needed one more,
Yeah.
one more approval.
So, and when you said eliminate, my thinking was not to eliminate, but just, we have 10 items, right? Do the
Correct.
first 5 first, and then,
What
Or-
we have, if I may, we have 2 options. One is we leave all 10 up like we did last time, and everybody gives their top 2, and
Okay,
we see,
we'll go ahead
since you
and do
saw
that.
what everybody else voted for, some people may decide to change their votes.
okay, but go ahead and do that then.
It's only 8
Say,
items.
all right, let's do it again.
Mayor and council, please refresh your pages.
Okay, Nick,
Fresh.
City clerk is going to be monitoring them.
We appear to have 5 of 5. Is everyone good with this? They do not need to reset?
We're done.
That round of voting is closed. Let me share the results. For round 2, Mayor Montano selected CC8, increasing the stipend for Planning Commission, and CC10, the Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. Vice Mayor Chua selected CC7, Community Advisory Commission, and CC10, the Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. Councilmember Fan selected CC2, Strengthening of the No Smoking Ordinance, and CC7, Community Advisory Commission. Councilmember Lien selected CC7, Community Advisory Commission, and CC10, Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. Councilmember Barbadillo selected CC1, Solicitation Ordinance, and CC8, Explore Increasing the Stipend for Planning Commission. And the final result is CC7, Community Advisory Commission, and CC10, Escuela Parkway, both with 3 votes each.
All right. Yes, the next one is city clerk. Refresh.
I think we're good, right? So yeah, thank you, Mayor, City Council. So since we had 2 items, CC7, Community Advisory Commission, changed to Community Advisory and Housing Commission, and then CC10, Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review, those 2 items received 3 or more votes. So those 2 items will proceed in our process, and we will review those items and discuss next steps with you in subsequent discussions with the Mayor and City Council. There are some possible budget needs for the Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review, but there's various options we can proceed with. So we can discuss those with you as we discuss what to move forward with.
And there are grants out there with VTA. Vice Mayor Chua, hold on.
So what's the next step?
So the
Because we
next step
still have
is-
some stuff that we want to pass, I think.
Sure. So the way the policy works is the 2 items, CC7, Community Advisory and Housing Commission, changed to Housing, and then CC10, Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. Those would be the items that would be moving forward after tonight. Any additional items would need to be referred again during City Council referrals, and we would discuss them again at the next quarterly prioritization process.
Okay, so that's it then. No more voting.
We're not voting anymore?
I thought we were voting.
I thought we were voting.
Like
I thought
round
we were gonna
2, round
eliminate-
3.
Oh, sorry.
No, the way discussed is that any items receiving 3 or more votes would proceed. And if once we get to 2 or more items, at least 2 items that receive 3 or more votes, then that round would be complete.
Okay.
Mayor,
Vice Mayor.
I think before you can eliminate the ones that didn't even get one. You see what I'm saying? And then we go back and vote again.
Yes.
That's how it was working before.
Yes, my understanding, and this is the first time since I've been here that we've gone to multiple rounds, but I'm using the same presentation and instructions as before. And the way that I understand it's worked in the past is if we had gotten to round 3 and we still didn't have at least 2 items with 3 or more votes, then we would have started eliminating some things to make sure that those items that were left consolidate the votes amongst themselves. And so the way that the process is outlined in our agenda report and in the presentation is, if the number of items after a certain round is 2 or greater that has received at least 3 votes, then the process stops and those are the items that move forward.
I don't think that's how we did it before. I thought the next step would be to eliminate the items that didn't even get one vote. You see, and then we go back and do it again. I don't get it because it's gonna take another 3 months to 4 months. Then we do this again. That's not acceptable. I don't think. You know, coming back in 4 months while we're already here.
Understood. I
Yeah.
think part of the reason that this was discussed is to, limit the number of additional work plans that are added on a regular basis so that we can make sure that the work we're doing, that we can continue our work plans and have not too many additional items added throughout the year and have those items that are prioritized most by the mayor and city council. I apologize if it wasn't clear in the presentation, but yeah, the process has been that once we have at least 2 items with
Well,
majority vote, then that's when we stop and those are the items that move forward.
I don't remember that. Daniel, do you know which ones did not get any vote or even has 1 vote? Do you know?
Yes, Vice Mayor, we can run a report that will give us the list of items that received 0 votes.
The issue that I have is I don't want to wait the 3-4 months to bring this up again. You see what I'm saying? Because there are some items with 2 votes. All it needed is another, and then it can be on the list to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And I think the reason that this process was set up was just to make sure there weren't too many additional items added throughout the year to the work plan.
So the way I see it is, I mean, it does, it does make sense because if you have too many, and I don't want to eliminate any, it still opens up, it still gives the author of that project a chance for it to come back.
But the
And
problem.
then you're focusing on just 2, so that way you can work on it, because if you get too many, how are you going to prioritize?
But getting 2 in 3 months or 4 months, that's not very efficient. You see what I'm saying? You have to wait another 3 months.
How long does it take to get through all this? It
It's
takes
quarterly.
Well, every item is different. As far as how quickly it can get implemented and who can implement it. For example, the Community Advisory and Housing Commission change is a relatively straightforward, changing the title of a commission, and we are working on our work plan with them right now, so we can start changing their work plan nearly immediately. The Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review. We can do a little bit of investigation in the near future, and then we'll have to look for funding to do the full investigation in the future. Ultimately, the policy was this policy is set by the mayor and city council. We could definitely come back and talk about it in the future. I do just want to, one option, and I don't think it meets all of your needs, Vice Mayor, is that right now the policy indicates that if something doesn't move forward, it just drops off and has to get kind of referred at a future council meeting. One option is to just agree that anything that received any votes automatically gets referred to the next session so that you don't have to re-refer it. I know that only partially meets what your needs, though.
See,
Vice
the
Mayor,
thing is, I
I
can
mean-
see like increasing the stipend for planning commissions. Why do we have to wait? This is the perfect time to do it because it's the budget. Then why do we have to wait 3-4 months? I mean, that's my rationale. I mean,
Right.
The city manager, we have a comment. to make?
Yeah, as a compromise, I agree with the assistant city manager. One option would be, as he suggested, that we keep the items on. Another suggestion might be, we did have, by my tally, we did have 3 other items that received at least 1 or 1 that received 2 votes. It's up to the council's discretion if you wanted to look at those 3 items and vote on those again.
yes,
We had
please.
item number 1, number 2, and number 8. I think, if I was keeping track correctly, you could look at those 3 and vote. I would also agree with Assistant City Manager. A couple of these items will not take much time. And so I think that means that we could do 3 items tonight rather than 2.
Right.
That would help
Don't
the
limit
council.
it to 2. I mean, Okay, let's do that.
So can I just, if I understand City Manager Thomas's, what you said is we will move forward and try and add 1 more item this evening.
But we would
We'll
only do
see.
it through the ones that received votes in the last.
I think that's
So it'd be
how we do
item
it.
1, 2, and 8, and they would vote on those 3
Because
items.
those receive at least 2 or 1 vote.
Yeah.
We can't eliminate those. I don't even know what those are.
Or I guess in this case, we would eliminate the 2 that are moving forward, and then we would eliminate the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that didn't receive any votes. So you would only be voting on three items, item number one, item number two, and item number 8. 1 and 2 received 1 vote each, and item number 8 received 2 votes in the last round. And if you want me to, item number 1 is
So is there a
the
consensus?
solicitation ordinance. Item number 2 is the strengthening of no smoking ordinance. And I believe item number 8 is the increasing the stipend for the planning commission.
Okay. So Dan, can you come and refresh?
Are we missing it?
It's not working on my. Can't get back. I think you have to come and reset my.
Let me just make sure that that we're on the same page. Is that the city council wanted to prioritize the items that received at least 1 or 2 votes?
Right.
Okay. One moment, please. I just want to verify that we have the right list.
Set yours.
I tried.
Yeah, me
It
too.
won't.
Tried to.
Daniel was doing.
Mhm. For the solicitation ordinance received. Arts month. Oh, that already moved forward. So the and how do we? The items that it received at least 1 or 2 votes in the last round, except for the 2 items that moved forward already, are CCO1, the solicitation ordinance, CCO2, the no smoking ordinance, CCO5, the arts month, CCO8. No, the CC no. CC08, this planning commission, and CC09, the banner program. And so our IT department is updating your voting. And it'll take about a minute to update that.
Can we repeat the numbers again? That
Sure.
got some.
Sure, and that's and the IT department will be updating your voting link as well. But the CCO, so these are the items. So the 2 items, the CAC name change and the Squale Parkway, you're not going
Yeah,
to
we
vote
know
on those
that.
anymore. Those go forward. So the other items that received at least 1 vote are CCO1, the solicitation ordinance, CCO2, no smoking, CCO5, Arts Month, CCO8, Planning Commission, and CCO9, Banner Program. Yes, and wanted to clarify, we're voting for having each council member vote for 1 more item, and then we'll see. Then after we see what gets most votes, then you'll provide some direction on that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
Daniel, are we ready? Or
Reset.
okay, are you going to reset it? Okay, he'll let us know. And then once he resets it, if you could vote on your top priority item of those remaining items. He's going to send a new link in the email right now. So it'll be the new email that they will click on when they get it from you, Daniel. Should everybody have gotten it, Daniel, or just?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got
We
it.
have it.
Okay. One. Oh, I thought that's what we just discussed. Sorry.
Round one has started. You may please make your selection. All votes are received. Okay, I am going to share my screen to read off the results here. Mayor Montano selected CC8, explore increasing stipend for Planning Commission. Vice Mayor Chua selected CC8, exploring increasing the stipend for Planning Commission. Councilmember Fan selected CC5, recommend an Arts Month exhibit for commissioners to show. Councilmember Lien selected CC8, explore increasing stipend for Planning Commission. And Councilmember Barbadillo selected CC8, explore increasing stipend for Planning Commission. The results are CC8 with 4 votes.
All right. All right, we voted for that. So would you want to recap?
Sure, I can recap. And so I would ask a quick question, if you don't mind, first for clarification on the increase of the Planning Commission stipend. We used $100 as an example. We'll be back in front of council with so you can have a final decision on that. But if any of you either now or in the future have a different number in mind you want us to look at, please let us know. otherwise,
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make a comment that, they do deserve, I feel that they do deserve a raise. I mean, they come in twice a month and they do a lot of reading, a lot of work. So I think it's just.
okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank
so
you. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So to summarize, the three items that are moving forward to go on our staff work plan are CC07, Community Advisory Commission change to Community Advisory and Housing Commission, CC08, Explore Increasing Stipend for Planning Commission, and CC10, Escuela Parkway Traffic Safety Review.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next, the city manager for item 4.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 4 is a public hearing item. This is a resolution for a site development permit and other entitlements for a new 43-unit townhome condominium development on 1905 Terror Court. We have our principal planner, Lillian Van Hoa, here to present the staff report, and I believe our planning director, Jay Lee, will be joining remotely. And we also have representatives from Toll Brothers, the developer, here tonight as well. Lillian.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, fellow staff, and members of the public. My name is Lillian Van Hoa, Principal Planner here with the City of Milpitas. Next slide, please. The application is for a number of different entitlements that include a site development permit, a conditional use permit, a vesting tentative map, density bonus permit, tree removal permit, and environmental assessment to allow the demolition of a 35,000 square foot industrial building and the removal and replacement of 21 ordinance-sized trees in order to develop 43 townhome condominiums, 13 attached accessory dwelling units, and plant up to 107 new trees at 1905 Terror Court. The development will consist of 13 multifamily residential buildings up to 39 feet in height, with 104 vehicle parking spaces and associated site improvements on a 2.3 acre site. The developer also proposes 6 below market rate units for sale and an in lieu payment into our affordable housing fund for a 0.45 unit, which allows them to invoke state density bonus law pursuant to State Government Code 65915 and Senate Bill 330, also known as the Housing Crisis Act. By invoking state density bonus law and SB 330, the developer is eligible for concessions, waivers, and parking standards different than city standards. This picture on the slide is a rendering of one of the buildings that will be facing one of the interior streets within the development. Next slide, please. Here we see the satellite view of the property outlined in yellow. The site is located along the southern edge of Milpitas, west of Terror Court, which will eventually connect to Sango Court in order to make the connector street. Next slide, please. The map above demonstrates the project site's zoning designation and overlay district. The property is also located in the previous Transit Area Specific Plan, TASP, or currently known as the Metro Milpitas Specific Plan area. The project is located in the multifamily high-density residential zone within the transit-oriented development, or also known as R3 TOD zoning district, and that's represented by the light tan color on the screen. The site is also surrounded by other R3 TOD zone properties, creating a complementary use and development style of what is being proposed. Next slide, please. On February 3rd, 2023, the applicant, Toll Brothers, submitted a pre-application for the development as permitted by Senate Bill 330. To increase transparency and certainty in the development application process, SB 330 allows a housing developer to submit a preliminary application to a local agency for a housing development project. Upon submittal of an application and a payment of a permit processing fee, a housing developer is allowed to freeze the applicable fees and development standards that are applied to the project while they assemble the rest of the material necessary for a full application submittal. Since the pre-application was submitted on February 3rd, the transit area specific plan standards were in effect. And therefore, the planning department staff use the task development standards to analyze this project instead of using the Metro Development Standards, which were adopted on February 7th, 2023. Once the applicant received comments from their pre-application submittal, they applied with a formal development application in July of 2023. And lastly, on May 22nd of this year, the Planning Commission recommended that the City Council approve the development. Next slide, please. The staff report discusses the project known as GeoMax 2, which is different than GeoMax 1, approved in early 2023. Here is a map demonstrating both projects connected to one another. Next slide, please. As previously mentioned, the project requires a site development permit to develop the 43 townhome residential units ranging in size between 1,288 to 2,191 square feet. This includes 17 2- and 3-bedroom units and 26 4-bedroom units. The 4-bedroom units each have 3.5 baths. 13 attached ADUs will be included on the ground level of 13 of the 4-bedroom townhomes, which creates an overall density of 25.5 dwelling units per acre. The project also includes site improvements like guest parking, internal driveways to access the parking garage, up to 107 new trees with landscape buffers along the public streets. Next slide, please. The project also includes a density bonus permit, which is allowed for projects that incorporate affordable housing units. The City of Milpitas, via our affordable housing ordinance, requires all developers incorporate up to 15% of the total units as affordable units, also known as below market rate or BMR units. The image on the screen represents all 43 townhomes. 15% of 43 is 6.45 units. The developer has proposed to develop 6 BMR units identified as the townhomes with red dots on the screen above in front of you. The applicant will pay an in lieu fee into the Affordable Housing Fund for the 0.45 unit that cannot be physically developed. Since the city has an affordable housing ordinance, which has a greater percentage of affordable housing required than what the state density bonus law requires, the developer is automatically granted state density bonus law provisions. Next slide, please. The state density bonus law prohibits local jurisdictions from requiring a developer to meet certain objective design standards like setbacks, height, or required parking spaces, as long as the applicant or developer can demonstrate that relief of the standard equates to an actual identifiable cost reduction. This is referred to as a density bonus waiver. Since this project qualifies for a density bonus permit, the development qualifies for unlimited waivers. The developer is requesting a waiver for a design standard that requires building entrances to face public right-of-ways. In order to maximize the site with dwelling units, the applicant created internal courtyards for some of the units to face. Since those internal courtyards are not considered public right-of-ways, the design standard is not being met. But since the project qualifies for a density bonus permit, the applicant has the right to request waiving of that standard because it allows them to maximize the site for residential development. The building entrance orientation provides an actual and an identifiable cost reduction for the project applicant and therefore is entitled to the waiver. Next slide, please. In order to demonstrate the parking requirement, staff has created the table above on the screen, which shows the parking requirement per the TASP and per the state density bonus law. The TASP requires 126 parking spaces because all projects in TASP include guest parking. However, the state density bonus law limits parking spaces and completely removes guest parking spaces altogether. With the state density bonus law, 104 parking spaces are required. The developer sees value in providing guest parking and proposes to develop it into the project, which meets the state density bonus permit standards and can be approved. Next slide, please. The project's design concept includes three-story building heights consistent with existing and planned residential development along Tarab Court and Journey Street. The contemporary design includes the following colors and materials: a comp shingle shed roof design, a mixture of vertical fiber cement and stucco, Coronado stone accents along the ground floor, metal railings, fiber cement window and door trim, and modern front entry and garage doors. The colors and materials were chosen to complement the modern-day neighborhood being developed in the Tango area. Next slide, please. The project includes the removal of 21 ordinance-sized trees, which will be replaced with up to 107 new trees. The trees being removed include 14 evergreen ash in 4 to poor condition and 7 American sycamore. The evergreen ash trees will be replaced with a wide variety of 24-inch box trees, while the 7 sycamore trees are being replaced with 36-inch box trees. Additional landscape elements include a 4-foot wide concrete walkway along the perimeter of the site, internal courtyards, outdoor bicycle racks, and stamped colored paving within the medians and parking lanes. Tree plantings include street trees that match the Tarab Court street trees, screening trees along the front of the residences, and flowering accent trees in strategic locations of the site. Next slide, please. The task requires all new developments to provide parkland or parkland fees to develop open space. The parkland fee is based upon the estimated number of persons expected to reside in the development per the U.S. Census definitions, and the estimated value of parkland within the city of Milpitas. Since the developer proposes 43 units, resulting in an estimated population of 107 new residents, based on this population estimate, the applicant must provide 0.37 acres of parkland, equivalent to approximately $1.04 million. All projects in the task area are required to also pay a transit area development impact fee, also known as the TADIF. A portion of that fee pays for parkland. The park portion of the task fee for this project is valued at approximately $927,000, equivalent to 0.33 acres of parkland. This amount will be applied to the project's parkland requirement, leaving a delta of 0.04 acres to be satisfied. To satisfy this delta, the applicant has incorporated 0.29 acres of residential open space on site as demonstrated in the green areas within the site plan. For example, each townhome either has a private balcony or patio totaling approximately 13,000 square feet and over 27 square feet of residential open space. Next slide, please. As mentioned, the project includes 13 attached ADUs located on the ground floor of 13 of the townhomes, and the ADUs range from 282 to 361 square feet and are furnished with a living/sleeping area, bathroom, kitchenette, and separate front door entrance and porch. Next slide, please. The applicant will need to pay the following impact fees. The TADIF fee is calculated at the time of building permit issuance. The current TADIF fees are approximately $50,000 per unit. A public art fee equals to 0.5% of building development costs. Additional standard development fees include stormwater connection, water connection, and a sewer connection fee for the additional connections needed to be serviced for the development. Next slide, please. A notice was published in the Milpitas Post and a sign was placed on the property. The city also sent over 5,600 postcards informing residents and property owners of the project. The applicant also hosted a community meeting to obtain feedback for the project. Unfortunately, no one attended that community meeting. Fortunately, the planning department received 3 comments from residents for the Parkside community. The following slides will address the comments received. Next slide, please. The comments followed the concern of inadequate road infrastructure to support the development, a request to keep existing trees, and questions specifically about the Augustus Rathbone Park extension. Next slide, please. To address the infrastructure comment, the city needs funding and cooperation from developers to have the infrastructure installed. By recommending approval, or by approving this project, the Sango Court extension will be started and completed. As previously stated, this extension will connect Trade Zone Boulevard to Montague Expressway, giving residents additional options to access main corridors. This exhibit also addresses the comment about Augustus Rathbone parking shrinking. The park is not getting smaller, but it's being reconfigured into two areas. 1700 Sango Court and 1831 Tarab Court will be developed into parkland. The city has already retained a park designer who will be working with the city's engineering and recreation teams to hold community meetings on what residents want to see in this future park. Since the park development is still in its early stages, we'll have more information to come, but to address the concern we received, the park has actually not decreased in size, but rather reconfigured in a different manner and has actually increased in overall acreage. Next slide, please. The applicant provided an arborist report concluding that over 43% of the trees on site are in poor condition, although some of the trees are in either fair or good condition. Not allowing the removal of the tree would significantly reduce residential development ability. Unfortunately, there is a necessity to remove the tree for economic enjoyment of the property since there is no other feasible alternative to the removal. Furthermore, the majority of trees that will be removed are along the western property line where utilities will be developed to serve the property. Lastly, as previously mentioned, the developer will be planting up to 107 new trees to mitigate the removal of the 21 protected trees. Next slide, please. The last comment has to do with too many multifamily residential units. The California Department of Housing and Community Development has created policies in response to the state of California's current housing challenges. The following policies in this slide demonstrate the need for new housing. Laws have become difficult to stop housing development across the state, so rather than stopping development, cities formulate plans to place an importance on quality of life while being as inclusive as possible. More housing opportunities provide more choices and opportunities for ownership. Next slide, please. The GeoMax 2 development has been carefully analyzed against state law, the Milpitas General Plan, the TASP Metro Specific Plan, and the zoning ordinance, which includes findings that include a compatible design with neighboring projects, consistency with the goals and policies of the Milpitas zoning ordinance, general plan, and the transit area specific plan. For components of the project that are not consistent with the zoning ordinance, they have been rectified per the allowable waiver per state density bonus law. Lastly, the project meets the conditions of Government Code Section 66474 regarding subdivision law and the Subdivision Map Act. Next slide, please. The project is considered exempt per CEQA as demonstrated above, along with Exhibit 2 to the resolution, which documents how the CEQA exemption can be found. Furthermore, the project is consistent with CEQA guidelines section 15183. Next slide, please. In closing, staff recommends that the City Council open and close the public hearing, or open the public hearing to receive comments, close the public hearing, consider the exemptions in accordance with CEQA, and adopt the resolution approving the site development permit, conditional use permit, vesting tentative map, density bonus permit, tree removal permit, and environmental assessment subject to the conditions of approval. This concludes staff summary of the project, and we also have the applicant here as well.
Thank you, Lillian. Sorry. Now I will open up the public hearing. Any call for comments?
I have one speaker card from Nick.
Welcome, Nick. The other Nick. Is it this Nick? It's Nick. Okay. Well, let's have Monte Mayor come up.
Oh, Montemero, Voltaire Montemero Milpitas. I'm always proponent, or I'm in favor of this attractive and encouraging project. I'll be inspired if I'll stay there. Mainly, I'm not disconsidering the public comments that I saw. Yeah, they have points, but at least it will be superseded by the beautiful place. It will be, I believe it's encouraging, it's inspiring to stay there. And you cannot find such kind of project that was presented. I'm really impressed already of the aerial view, more so if I go there someday, if it's finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor.
I have another speaker card from Laredo Dimondal.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'd like to speak regarding the portion where it says affordable housing, and yet it's stated it's for 6 units of moderate income, no low income or extremely low income. So I was just wondering what that pertains to. Also, this is small development, so I'm not going to say anything against the housing in lieu. But for bigger developments, I hope that you would consider that if you're receiving money for housing in lieu, we will be losing a lot of units that would last for 30 or even 50 years. So even if they put money into the housing fund for the city of Milpitas, I think that you should reconsider having and not do any housing in lieu. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to make any comments from the public?
I have no additional public speaker cards.
Thank you. Seeing none, I will ask the applicant if he would like to come up and say some words, and then we'll have council discussion. Oh, I will close the public hearing.
Mayor Montano, Vice Mayor Chua, members of the council. My name is Nick Costa with Toll Brothers. Again, I agree with both speakers. I trust the gentleman who spoke in favor of the project. So Toll Brothers is a luxury home builder. We're in about half the country states. Our headquarters for Northern California is just down the road up in Pleasanton, California. This is the third project that we've built or trying to build in this area. Our first project was Parkside. That was about 200 units that's been built and is completely sold out. Then we moved on to what we call Geomax 2, which the council approved last February in 2023. That was around 80 units. Currently, there's site work going on, so we're trying to get that project moving. And this would be the third project in the area. This is the Geomax 2 project, which is 43 townhomes along with the 13 accessory dwelling units. We're really grateful for all the work. I mean, I think Ned Thomas was the planning director when we started this about 2 years ago. And, we've seen Lillian through having a couple babies, and we've worked with Michael Fasadi, who's not here tonight. But staff's been fantastic to work with, and all the engineering and public works folks. It's been a real pleasure and continued partnership with the city. My colleague Rob Connolly is here tonight, and our consultant team is all in the Zoom world somewhere. So if there's any particular questions for them, our landscape architect, our architect, and our civil architect that are ready to answer any questions if you have any. Tonight we are respectfully requesting approval of the project. And if you have any questions now or throughout the course of the hearing, we're open to taking them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to City Council for any council discussion on this project. Is there anyone? We have Council Member Anthony Fan.
I was just going to say the project looks really good.
And thank you for your continued investment in Milpitas. We hope to continue to be a partner and collaborate more.
And we have Vice Mayor Chu.
Thank you, Mayor. I echo what Councilmember Fan and you've been developing in our city, and thank you so much. And I like this project because you incorporated the concept of ADUs. And I read recently that there are 35, at least 35% of houses built in California are ADUs. And we are ramping up our ADU construction in Milpitas through the leadership of the city council, of course, and our city manager. Thank you for including that on your development. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there anyone else that would like to make any more comments, City Council? Okay, I have a couple of comments. So you mentioned about.
Mayor, Councilman Barbadillo has his light.
I didn't see him. Okay, fine. Councilmember Barbadillo?
Thank you, Mayor. The question for the staff. So, the bonus, waiver, and concessions are mostly because of the high density rule that we have in the state. Is there anything that the applicant has which is discretionary to this council? Or everything is a must?
So I guess the answer to your question is that you don't have discretion.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I figured it out. It's just that, with the conditional use permit, I was just thinking that was something that this council would decide of. But if you tell me everything that's been applied with regards to bonus, waiver, and concessions are all within the intent of the high density rule in California, that's the question. So everything is a must?
Yes.
All right. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Barbadillo. And we have Councilmember Lin.
This is also for you. Do we know yet the total fees that's going to come into our city on this project?
Not the total amount. Typically, that's calculated at the building permit issuance stage. So, for example, the transit area specific plan impact fee is updated on an annual basis. So right now, the cost per unit is about $50,000 per unit, but when the units actually are permitted through the building permit, it could be 2 years from now. And so that fee will have increased, and similar to our stormwater connection fees and other utility fees.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lin. Is there anyone else that would like to make any more comments? Seeing none, I would like to make a couple of comments. I have a couple of questions for the applicant. If you can come up. Thanks, Nick. So you mentioned that, and I'm kind of following one of the speakers that came up earlier and mentioned about affordable housing. So you mentioned there are opportunities for ownership, and you mentioned moderate income. So can you tell me what is moderate income?
So if I get some help maybe from planning or from the city manager, I believe it's 80 to 120 of the AMI in the county for moderate.
100. So they have to be making 120,000 a year.
It's a percentage of, so 80% to 120% of what the moderate income in the county is, which is the AMI, which, Ned, do you know off the top of your head what that is? Probably 100.
Yeah, the AMI or the area median income for Santa Clara County in 2023 was $181,300.
Okay, so 181,000, that's quite a bit of money for a moderate income housing. And 6 of those will be, I guess, below market rate. I get my point is here is that we really need to start building, and I know you've already, this project has already gone through, but our city needs to really start focusing on really low income, and because a lot of folks cannot afford 181,000.
Well, additionally, your arena numbers are going to get hard to hit. I mean, the only way to really build that low income and very low income housing is building apartment projects. It's the only way you're really going to be able to hit, and teaming with, people like USA Properties or other affordable builders.
Right.
Because on these not rinky dink, but on these smaller projects, the amount of real affordable housing that the state needs in that, the city, we're all going to have to start looking at finding bigger sites to build on. And that's just challenging given where we're at in the city and the state.
Right. And I get it because, you have to, there has to be a profit margin there, and there has to be, and I know supplies, the construction costs, everything is rising, inflation. So I get it. But yeah, I just wanted to make that comment. So with that, because you did mention that opportunities for ownership, but it's going to be very narrow for not everyone. In our city, we have so many seniors that are looking for housing, and I'm hoping that someday we will have another Terrace Gardens project in Milpitas for to house these seniors. The other question I had was, what is your community benefit? What are you giving to the community?
Well, I guess a few things. If you look at generally, well, first of all, there's to Councilmember Lynn's point, the fees that we're providing to the city are significant. And I understand that we're building the project, so there's, that's required. I think we've talked in depth about trying to kick off the parks in that neighborhood that aren't built yet. The neighbors really want those parks built. So we've offered to help work with the city as much as we can and we've even upfront said, we'll go, advance the funds to start to hire the landscape architects and project manage all the infrastructure for the parks. If that was something that was of interest to the city, that would be something, not related completely to the project, but however we can help advance that, we've always been open. We talked to Matt Kano about that last fall, and then it kind of that conversation just kind of ended because the city maybe worried about liability or something. Has that been
solidified? I mean, is it that you will be able to contribute to the benefit to the community, the park?
With our fees, correct. And then also with regards to Sango Court, we're going to start to kick off that roadway connection on our dollar to start to connect people, to that. There's a new overlay, a pedestrian path that's going to go in, and then also to the other streets. There'll be much better circulation. And we also, with the current uses there, the tenants are on their way to move out of town completely. So those buildings were going to be vacant, and then the city's going to lose all of that property tax that they were acquiring. And so now we're bringing in at least funds to help more than cover what you're losing. And additionally, just one other quick thing, the ADU concept that we're building, we're doing 13 ADUs with this project. That was something that city staff, we worked with them probably 2 years ago. It's really innovative, and now we're copying it in a lot of other jurisdictions because that helps with your arena, because now you're getting those 13 ADUs and it helps with your density. And then to the point about creating more affordable opportunities, the ADUs, if folks choose to rent them out, which in our communities, people want to rent out the ADUs. Now you're getting a lower income person who can rent versus just the ownership of the inclusionary. So we think this ADU concept is kind of a big game changer for starting to get more affordable housing, not just in your community, but all over the state.
Right. Yeah, I see that. So the other question I have is our art. We have an art fund, and every new development needs to put in funds into the art fund or create some type of art project on the new project. So do you have anything in mind?
We're just right now, I just don't know the city well enough to know who the artist that you like or how you would want that to look. Right now, we're just proposing to pay a fee.
You're proposing what?
to pay the fee for the art fee to go into the
And
city's
how much
fund.
is that?
I think it's 1% of one half of 1% of
One half
construction
of
costs.
1% of the building.
How much would
costs.
that be?
And what's our total? A lot. Our construction costs.
And so you're proposing to put it in the fund?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
And I think the if you want to where to actually put that art, it seems like the most logical place would probably be into one of the parks that are being built.
Correct.
Just so that
yeah.
most people can, but it's your
Yeah.
choice, obviously.
Well, I do like your project. I saw the circulation on there. It's good. It suffices the fire police to get in there. I like the architect and all the shrubbery, the vegetation. It's a good project. And I really do like it. Again, it was the only thing that I just said, wow, we need more affordable housing. I mean, that's why these Senate bills pass, but they forgot to put that one little piece in there about affordable housing, for low income housing. And so we're still going to be trying to create some type of ordinances or something in our city to try to be more inclusive.
We agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can help out as well,
Mhm.
that would be great, because you mentioned you already have this is your third project.
Oh,
So that tells me that you're a partner here. You have a vested interest in this community, so.
Our company used to be headquartered in Milpitas. We're Chappelle Homes. So we have a long history with the city, and we'd love to be working here for indefinitely.
Yeah, and I've heard some good things about your company, that you do quality projects, so.
Great.
Anyhow, with that, I'm going to, those are the only questions I have. But
Great.
I like your project.
Great. Thank you.
So now I will see what the council desires. Councilmember Fan has hand raised.
I'd like to call the question and move approval.
Okay, is there a second? So we have Councilmember Lin. So it was motion to approve by Councilmember Fan and seconded by Councilmember Han Lin. So now we'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Barbadillo,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Councilmember Fan,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I'm an aye. Congratulations. Okay, so now I will call on staff for any comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I do not have any announcements tonight. Thank you.
Okay, you didn't want to mention anything about this evening about the heroes?
It was a really wonderful event. We appreciate the council's quickly getting in their nominations so that we could have this done before the July break. And we look forward to bringing the next batch forward to you next year around the same time. So we'll do that as an annual event. This was our first one. And we will display, we have the posters, if you saw them downstairs. We will display those in each of the city facilities over the next few months.
That's great. So anyone else? So Vice Mayor Chua?
I missed to thank City Attorney Michael Motley-Posse, because he did review the guidelines for the Milpitas Community Heroes. Thank you. Thank you, Michael, so much. And also I will have one request. Since now we have a housing commission, I would like to have a housing corner where all the different links related to housing. It's just like an ADU corner or incentive corner or going green corner. This way, anything related like rent relief or workforce housing, anything related to housing, anybody can go there. It's just links. It's not going to be very complicated. It links it to the different features of housing in our city. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Do we need to call for consensus?
I didn't get, what did you say? I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat that, Vice Mayor? So the audience can hear.
Oh, so it's recommended by City Attorney Milpitas to refer this request to the Housing Commission. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. And I just want to reiterate, we need to start focusing on really low income. I mean, that's why these Senate bills were passed. There's a whole slew of them, but they're just missing a piece of it. And I think it's up to us, the cities, to take some bold stance and start building some real affordable housing. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.